So I guess that's part of my experiment here in trying to get up early, is to expand that time that I have for myself. It is currently 5:45. I woke up at like 5:15 this morning, but didn't really get out of bed until 5:30. Then I had to make some tea. To be sitting down to write this early is good. I think I'm naturally an early riser, so it is a little bit easier for me to get up early and do a thing. However, I have work soon, and what I'm trying to do is set up a new morning routine so that I can have more time to write before I have to go to work. And not just write, but do other things like go for a nice walk, maybe do a little bit of yoga, have time for a nice breakfast. So I have to be out of the door by around 7:45 to get to work on time. And I like to give myself about an hour to get ready, maybe. So ideally, I would love to be getting up at like 4:45 and getting to work at my desk around 5, and that would give me like a good hour and a half to read, to brainstorm, to move my body a little bit before the day begins. So we have a little bit of work to do. Currently sitting at 5:45, well, 5:47 now. So over the next couple days, I'll try to get up even earlier. But for now, let's stop wasting time. Let's do some writing. I'm gonna set the timer for 25 minutes, see how far we get. I am working on a short story currently. I have about 800 words of the short story finished, and I don't really know how long it's gonna be yet. Probably between 3,000 to 5,000 words. Just kind of feeling my way through it right now. Have a little bit of an idea of where we're headed, and I'm really enjoying these new characters. So I'm just gonna settle in and do some writing. One of the recommendations for getting yourself up earlier every day is to have a consistent sleep pattern. So that means going to bed at the same time every night, around the same time, and getting up around the same time every morning, all week long, not just the weekdays, but weekends too. I have been doing that pretty consistently. I go to bed between 9 and 9:30. Sometimes I stay up till 10 or 10:30. I'm usually not up much past that. And then I do try to get up between 5:30, 6:30. I think 7 is the latest that I sleep in. Again, I am a morning person. I think that if you're trying to get up earlier and you're struggling, you may need to kind of take a look at your circadian rhythm a little bit, and maybe you are a person who thrives more in the evenings and the later hours of the day. I do not. My brain gets really tired in the afternoon and just kind of wants to shut down and not do a whole lot. So I really try to take advantage of the morning hours. So getting consistent sleep is key in trying to get up early and feeling rested. One of the ways that you can try to get better sleep, like more consistent sleep, is to stop using your phone about an hour or so before you're going to go to bed. So like as an unwinding routine, putting your phone away, putting it out of reach, not scrolling within, a half hour to an hour of when you're planning on going to bed. I am not very good at that. I am constantly picking up my phone just to check the time or to set my alarm, and the next thing I know, I've been scrolling for an hour and my brain is wired again and I have trouble resting and falling asleep. So one of my experiments for this week, one of my plans is to have the bedroom be a no phone zone. And that means I need a new alarm clock because I have been using my phone as an alarm clock. And if my bedroom is a no phone zone, then that's not gonna work for me anymore. We have a light that turns on around 5:30, but my husband and I kind of keep a different sleep schedule. He does stay up a little bit later, and I tend to get up a little bit earlier, and so I do want something where he can kind of sleep in. So we'll keep the light kind of timed to go off at 5:30, but since I'm trying to get up and start my day like closer to 4:45, I'm gonna need something to wake me up. Also, sometimes the light doesn't work, you know, I just sleep through it. Tonight is the first night of the no phone zone, and I have a new alarm clock. This is a Reacher alarm clock. It is just a simple FM radio alarm clock. It's not a smart alarm clock as far as I know. It has volume control, supposedly. I am actually a really light sleeper, and I don't need like a really loud alarm to get me up in the morning. Again, this experiment of trying to get up early is going to be a little bit easier for me than other people. So if you're watching this video and you're like, darn her, she makes it look so easy. I am a morning person again, and I'm a light sleeper, and I don't really snooze my alarm. I think some of my bigger issues are going to be kind of like motivation to actually get out of bed once I'm awake, to slow down, but like also to allow myself to enjoy the morning, but also get work done. So I don't know. So here's some instructions about how this alarm clock works. Plug it in. There's a night light apparently. I'm gonna try and get this set up. Comes with some plugs, which is great. What I'm thinking is that if I want to go to bed at 9 and like fall asleep by 9:30, that sounds reasonable. Maybe there'll be times where I'll need to go to bed a little bit earlier, but we'll see. So if I want to go to bed at 9, that means I need to stop using my phone at 8. So tonight the plan is to put my phone away at 8 and then not pick it up again until tomorrow morning when I wake up and film and let you know what time I got up in the morning. So let's see if we can get this thing working. What is this? Oh, it's an antenna. Okay. Let's get it plugged in. Wait, let's try not to break it. Too late. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's turn on the auto dimmer. See if it dims itself. It's not dimming yet, but we will give it a try here. Let's set the timer. It's 5:13 p.m. One of the reasons I wanted like a dimmable clock was because I am a light sleeper. I didn't want this thing just like glaring at me all night long. Scan and see if we can find something. Let's see. I know a station I like. 94.7. It's our indie rock station. Oops. Uh-oh. Scanned too close to the sun. Not finding anything. That's concerning.
Justice, fortitude, and temperance this week. In history, Venus Williams.
And better to the Windward Islands as a category question like, am I ready to buy a home? Fired furniture.
690 Nation.
Here we go. That's a good station. Turn down the volume and then turn off the radio. Okay, so we've got a radio station. Now we need to set alarm. This morning I woke up at 5:30, so we're gonna set it back to 5:20. Gonna have little songs. Oh, that's fun. I'm gonna go with that ringtone. We'll see how that works tomorrow. Should be a good volume. I think it's set. So I think the alarm is all set up, and we will try it out tonight and see if it alarms in the morning and wakes me up at 5:20. That is the goal, to get up a little bit earlier each day until I'm getting up around 4:45 and actually getting up and getting out of bed and starting the routine and starting work and getting stuff done. Today I did feel a little bit rushed. I was able to get a little bit done, which helped me feel grounded and it felt good, but I would like to have a little bit more time so I don't feel so rushed every morning. So that's the goal this week, is to try and find ways to get better sleep so that I can wake up early, so that I can work on my books before I go to my day job.
This morning was a rough one. I did get up at 5:20 when my alarm was set. Actually, I got up a little bit before my alarm clock went off, so I actually didn't get to hear the alarm to see if it worked, but I think it did. So yeah, I got up when I wanted to, but I am tired. It has been really hot the past few days, and that means the evenings are warm and I'm just not sleeping well. Last night we had to wait until like 9:30 before we could walk our dog because it was so hot, and so I didn't really fully have the evening routine that I wanted, so I went to sleep a little bit later, and then I was tossing and turning for most of the night. So yes, I woke up when I wanted to this morning, but my brain is kind of foggy, a little blurry. I did sit down and write for 30 minutes. I was at my desk by 5:40, which is only 5 minutes earlier than yesterday, so I'm a little confused about that. But I did get a chance to do a little bit of yoga before I started writing. I wrote for about 30 minutes and got only about 310 words, which is still good. I'm still happy about that. I actually finished the scene that I was working on in this short story, and now I don't know what to do next. So my idea for the short story was kind of like a cozy mystery, but there's not really a mystery that's happening right now. This first scene that I've written is very much an introduction scene, which would be great if I was writing a novel, but I don't think I want to write a novel. I'm trying to write a short story, but you know, you don't always know how it's gonna turn out. Sometimes what you think is gonna be a novel turns into a short story and vice versa. So I don't know where I'm gonna go next with this short story. I think I need to do some thinking about it. So we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. I may work on something else when I wake up tomorrow. But for right now, it is time to go to my day job. Hooray! The no phone zone did work out pretty well. I did put my phone away around 8:30 last night and didn't pick it up again until this morning, and it was nice to have that break from the phone, that break from the desire to scroll or to look at the news. So I will be doing that again tonight. Yeah, so an okay morning. I did what I set out to do. I got up earlier, I wrote some words, I finished a scene, but it was a rough morning. Just feeling very tired, very worn down. So I need to make sure I get to bed early tonight if possible. I might sleep in tomorrow. I'll keep you posted. I have a meeting in about 5 minutes, so I better head in to the office.
Is there anything more delightful than coming home from a long day at work to find book mail waiting for you? I am part of a mystery book club, and every month the person who runs the book club sends out the book that we are reading that month. And it's always a nice little surprise. So this is our book for August. Our July book is A Man Lay Dead, which was written in the 1930s and is kind of one of those golden age mysteries a la Agatha Christie. I am about 40 pages in and I'm finding it to be okay. It is a little dated, but I'm having a little bit of a good time with the closed mystery aspect. We'll see if I like the rest of it. It is one of those books that has like a lot of characters and I'm having a little trouble keeping up with who's who, and they all kind of sound and feel the same to me. This book is not very big, so I do feel like, I don't know, maybe the author could have spent more time on the characterization. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to read a book that has been reprinted from quite a long time ago, and to kind of see what that era was writing in terms of mystery novels. But the book for August is one that I'm actually very excited about. It is one that I've been wanting to read for a while. It is Scorched Grace by Margot Doway. I am really bad at pronouncing names. This is Scorched Grace. There is a nun on the cover smoking a cigarette. I think this cover is gorgeous. And I think this is put out by Gillian Flynn Books. She started publishing books, I guess, and this has gotten a lot of awards and a lot of good chatter about it, and it does look like the kind of book that I will probably really enjoy. A Catholic school becomes the target of a shocking arson spree, and the sisters of Sublime Blood and their surrounding community are thrown into chaos. Punk rocker turned nun Sister Holiday isn't satisfied to just wait around for officials to return to her home and sanctuary to its former peace. Instead, deciding to unveil the mysterious attacker herself. So we have Nuns, Arson, Amateur Detective, New Orleans, published by Gillian Flynn imprint. I'm very excited to get to this one. What else was I gonna say? I'm finished with the day job. It was a long day, but I've been trying to take it slow and not burn out, not overdo it at the day job. I am still very much in a learning process with this new job and trying to understand the tasks and the roles that I've been given. I'm getting there, but I'm gonna go to the gym right now and get some exercise because I've been sitting a lot today and I need to go walk for a long time. The gym is air conditioned. And then I'm gonna spend some time tonight prepping for tomorrow morning. One of the things I found after returning to work and trying to write at the same time, writing in the morning, it can be easier for me if I set myself up for success by prepping some of the work that I would normally do when I wake up in the morning, prepping that in the evening. So for instance, breakfast. If I have a chance to prep a breakfast the night before, so in this case tonight I'm going to be making myself some overnight oats, that buys me time the next morning to be able to sit and write or read or go for a walk or do something for myself before I have to go into the day job and give my time over to someone else. So I really do like to capture as much as I can in the morning for myself. I don't really like to feel rushed when I am headed out to work. This morning I did feel a little rushed. I don't really feel happy and content and good about myself if I am just waking up and then working and then coming home and then making dinner and going to bed and getting back up and doing it all over again. I took a day job for a reason. I want to be there. I'm happy to be there now, finally. But it is also not a thing that is my whole life. And I really do want to spend time writing, being creative, making videos, reading, spending time with friends and family. I just want to have things that give my life meaning outside of my day job. And so it's important to me to just kind of like set up my time in a way that feels meaningful to me and in a way that allows me to have these moments, to capture these moments for myself. So I'm not just rushing here and there, giving all my time to a job and then coming home and having nothing for myself. So I guess that's part of my experiment here in trying to get up early, is to expand that time that I have for myself, to expand that time so that I can grow and rest and play and be creative for myself. So first the gym, then I'm gonna make some overnight oats, and then hopefully tonight I will be able to get to sleep at a more reasonable time. I did have caffeine yesterday afternoon around 2 or 3, and I think that may have been a little bit too late for me. One of the ways that you can try and get better sleep is to not have caffeine in the afternoons, and I generally don't. I generally have tea in the morning, tea or coffee, and then that's about it. I don't usually drink caffeine in the evenings or the later afternoons, but yesterday I had some iced tea and I'm wondering if that maybe kind of kept me awake a little bit longer than I wanted to. I'm hoping tomorrow morning to set the alarm for, let's see, this morning was 5:20, so I'm hoping, let's push it back another 10 minutes to 5:10 for tomorrow morning. If I can get good rest tonight, I think that will be fine for tomorrow. I am feeling pretty good right now. I'm gonna go recharge at the gym a little bit and eat a healthy dinner, and then just relax for the rest of the evening. Go to bed early, wake up early, and start it all over again. I woke up with my alarm today at 5:10. It was a very lovely little soft bird sound to wake me up. Made some tea. This morning is a little bit different. I will not be going into the office until later today. I do need to be ready to leave the house around 9:30, so I'm still gonna go through my normal morning routine, but I do have a little bit more wiggle room in terms of things I can do before I have to start getting ready for work. I'm gonna set a timer for 45 minutes. Since I finished a scene in my short story yesterday, and since I don't really know what I'm doing with it yet, this morning I'm gonna work on a newsletter article. One of the more frustrating things I've found since going back to work, since taking a day job, is that I don't have expansive amounts of time. I only have a limited amount each day, and so I can't do all the things all the time. I have to kind of pick and choose and decide what is priority. So right now I have a newsletter article that I need to get written and prepped, and today is a good day to do that. It is one of my goals for this week, and since I am kind of stuck with this short story, I think this morning would be the perfect time to work on that newsletter article and get that done. ended up writing a little more than 45 minutes because I forgot to hit play on my timer. So I think I actually wrote for about 50 minutes, maybe an hour. I did get the first draft of the newsletter done. It's almost ready to be scheduled. I just need to read through and edit it one more time, which I'll probably do tomorrow morning. So yeah, that was a good use of my hour, and now I still have time to have a relaxing breakfast, take my dog for a walk, get ready for work, and start my day. Today was really a self-care day for me. Yesterday I ended up having some anxiety and mental health issues unrelated to writing. Just a day where I was feeling my feelings and feeling them hard. And so I did not set my alarm to get up earlier this morning. I left it at 5:10. I did get up around that time and made myself a cup of tea, but instead of working on a writing project or a book project or a newsletter, I sat down and did some journaling. Journaling is a way that I can kind of get inside my head and also get outside of my head, pull the thoughts that are in my head out of my head, and just start to kind of understand myself a little bit better and make myself feel a little bit better. I also worked from home today. Did not go into the office. I did work for the office job, but I did not actually go into the office. I wanted to stay home in my cozy little sweatshirt with my dog next to me and just be in a quiet space where I could just take care and nurture myself today. I think that it's important if you are setting up routines for yourself, whether it's getting up earlier or trying to write in the evenings after work, that you also incorporate gentleness and kindness into your routine. If you're just not really feeling like working on a hard project or a book or connecting with your story, if you need time for yourself, take it. The book, the project, it will be there waiting for you when you're ready to come back to it. You can't pull from an empty creative well. You can't pull out energy if you haven't rested and don't have it. There is this idea that we get told a lot about hustle culture, and if you're not grinding hard, if you're not doing the thing, doing the work all the time, every day, every spare minute, that you're not going to get anywhere, that you're not going to have success. And I just don't believe that. I think that success can look like a lot of different things, and sometimes success looks like taking time to rest, taking time for yourself, taking time to nourish your mind. It doesn't always look like output, output, output. Sometimes it looks like holding back or taking in or giving yourself something that you need that isn't related to your book project. You'll still be able to get the book done. You can rest and still be ambitious and still be prolific and still get a lot of stuff done, but you do need to rest. So that's what I did today because I knew that was what I needed for myself. With my office job, we are allowed one work from home day a week. And for my team, I can take it whenever I want. So I took it today, which means I have to go into the office tomorrow, which is Friday. Usually I work from home on Fridays. So my plan, now that I'm feeling a little bit better, is to go ahead and set my alarm tonight for 5 a.m. and try to get up at 5 a.m. I still have that newsletter that I would like to finish, and I think that will be a good goal for me for tomorrow morning, to wake up early, finish that newsletter, and kind of start to prep my weekend and see what I want to work on this weekend. What kind of creative things do I want to dive into Saturday and Sunday? The one wrench that might throw everything off is that I am starting a volleyball league tonight. We play with a group of friends. It's very fun. I haven't been playing for a while because of some health issues, but this is my first time that I'm going back to play volleyball with the team, and I'm very excited to move my body and to spend time with friends, but it is a later game. And so that means I may be a little amped up when I get home and may have a hard time going to sleep. So we'll see how the 5 o'clock alarm works. I guess we'll find out together tomorrow morning if I can combine a late-ish night, an adrenaline-fueled evening with an early morning waking time.
I am in a little bit of a rush this morning. It is 8 o'clock and I am on my way to work to my office job. I did get up at 5 a.m. this morning. My alarm went off and I was able to get up and get out of bed and make a nice cup of tea. I do think my sleep was shorter last night than I really like. I went to bed around 10:30, 11 and got up at 5. That is not something that is sustainable. 6 to 7, 7 to 8 hours of sleep is actually better. I was actually kind of surprised that I woke up at 5 when my alarm went off. I thought I would like hit snooze and fall asleep, but I was ready to get up, ready to get out of bed and start my day. I worked on editing and scheduling, finishing up the newsletter that I started earlier this week. So that is all set to go. That feels good to get that done. And then, you know, where I lost track of time was I was working on helping a new writer friend with a query letter. Last week, a close friend of mine reached out and said that she knew somebody in my area who had just finished writing her first book and was getting set to query agents. I met up with that person over coffee. We had a nice little chat and I told her, hey, send me your query letter. Let me take a look at it. So I had a chance this morning to look at it and the book sounds so good. And I know that like condensing your book into 2 to 3 paragraphs is very difficult. It's very challenging. I've had to do it several times, so I have a little bit more experience. So I sat down with her query letter and really tried to like hone in on the point that she was trying to make, on the story that she's trying to tell, and really kind of condense it a little bit more. So I did that, and then I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, it's 7:15. Thankfully, my husband was making me breakfast already, so I just hopped in the shower, got ready, got dressed, ate some breakfast, and now I am on my way to work. I have an 8:30 meeting. I do think I will make it on time. Friday traffic is usually pretty light, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, it was a good, productive morning. I feel like I answered a couple emails, I finished up that newsletter, I helped out a writer friend, and I think it was a good start to my morning and a good start to the weekend. I am gonna go finish up my office job here and then put it aside for the weekend and do just all creative things. Maybe go on a hike, do some outdoor things. Even though I was a little rushed this morning with getting ready and getting out the door, I still feel like I was able to get a lot accomplished. And partly it's because I woke up so early at 5. I don't even think the sun was up yet. So yeah, I really am thinking that getting up early is going to be the key for me in terms of continuing to be productive with my creative life. Okay, I gotta go to work now. I really do. I have to stop procrastinating this. It's time. It's time to get into the office, get it done, and get home so I can start my weekend.
Now that I'm at the end of my week-long experiment of trying to get up earlier, as early as possible, what are my big takeaways from this week? What are the things that I've learned, the things that I'm going to continue to carry with me into next week? How am I going to continue to keep getting up this early? Because that's one thing to get up early for a week. It's a whole other thing to continue to get up early day after day after day. Now I have been getting up regularly between 5:30 and 6, so I don't think that it's gonna be too difficult for me to keep up the routine of getting up early, but I do really want to continue to get up between 4:45 and 5:15 every day. This week was a lovely, productive week for me in terms of creativity, but also I just felt good this week. So this week might be a little bit of a high energy week for me. My energy does fluctuate from week to week, so I do need to be careful and cognizant next week as I try to continue to get up early, that I'm taking care of myself, listening to my body, listening to my mind, listening to my needs. But the biggest thing I took away from this week is the no phone zone. This has been something that my husband and I have been talking about doing for a while, and I've just kind of shrugged it off as like, oh, it's not a big deal. I don't really look at my phone all that much. Yeah, I do. Apparently, I look at it way more than I think I do. And apparently, it affects me a lot more than I thought it did. And so having a no phone zone in the bedroom between like a certain time period, putting it away, putting it in a different room about an hour before I'm ready to go to bed, even during this 1 week that I've been doing this, has been rather revolutionary for me. I have gotten more reading done. I have felt way more refreshed when I wake up in the morning. Even if I don't get a full 7 to 8 hour night's sleep, I'm still feeling refreshed. My brain is feeling refreshed. My creativity is feeling refreshed. Instead of waking up and then grabbing my phone and starting to play, you know, the New York Times games or scrolling or checking my email, I get up and I make a cup of tea. I move my body, I sit down, and I tap into my creative well, and I do something for myself in those early morning hours before I have to get up, go to the office, do something for someone else. And that has just felt so good this week. I feel like I can recommit to next week, putting my phone away an hour before bed and then not picking it up again until after I've done my creative stuff for the day. Another thing I'm taking away from this week is that consistency is important. It is important to go to bed about the same time every night, wake up about the same time every morning. I did have a day this week where I went to bed about an hour, hour and a half later than normal, and it was a little bit harder to get up the next day. So I would assume that if I continued that trajectory, if I stayed up too late tonight, it would be hard to get up tomorrow morning. Another thing that I have enjoyed this week is kind of setting my alarm clock back in 10-minute increments. I would like to try and get up at 4:45 every day. I haven't reached that yet. Right now, my alarm clock is set for 5. And that was what I could do this week. And so I liked that I didn't just go from like a 5:45 wake up time to setting the clock back an hour to 4:45 and forcing myself to get up an hour earlier than normal. I think the 10-minute increments kind of helped my sleep pattern. I think I'm going to keep the alarm at 5 all weekend, and then on Monday I'll bump it back, I think, 5 more minutes to 4:55. That sounds so early. I know 5 sounds early, but when you get into the 4 zone, that's just... who's doing that? I am gonna do that. I think the reason I want to do that is because I really would like to settle in at my desk between 5 and 5:10, and I need some time to make tea. Tea takes so long to make, nobody's making it for me. So I guess I need to either hire a butler or get up at 4:45. So the cheaper choice is getting up at 4:45. Finally, it's important to listen to yourself, and if you're not feeling like getting up early one morning, don't worry about it. You can pick it up again the next day. Every new day is a new beginning. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's writing vlog. I hope to have a lot more of these types of videos up for you all soon. It has been fun for me to try and experiment in this way to try and get up earlier. It's been fun for me to share with you a little bit about my day-to-day and my process and some things that I have learned along the way and tips that I can share that will hopefully make it easier for you to get up in the morning so that you can pursue your creative dreams and work on your creative projects before you go into your office job or go take care of your kids or whatever it is you're going to be doing for the day. Set aside time, whether it's in the morning or the evening, set aside time for yourself. That is the most important thing that I want you to take away from this video, is that regardless of what time of day you're working on your projects, on your creative projects, carve out that time in your day to show up for yourself, to be there for your projects, to make even a little bit of progress towards your goals. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.